Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's One Piece Treasure Cruise video we are going to discuss about the upcoming legends, we have two of them, V2 Oden and the dual unit of Denjiro and Kinemon. They are not Super Sugo Fest exclusives and they are not going to be in a Super Sugo Fest but in a normal Sugo Fest, which I am pretty certain will be advertised as the anniversary Sugo Fest, at least maybe the global anniversary. And it will also be a 12.5% legend rate Sugo Fest, which essentially means a 2.5 times Sugo Fest. As for the structure, here it is. Oh no, that is actually an editing mistake, I am very sorry, will never happen again. That is not the Sugo Fest structure, this is the Sugo Fest structure. Oh, it is actually the exact same thing. Who made this? Yeah, as you can understand, the structure will be absolutely horrible, and I think it is a waste of energy at this point to be hoping for good structures in the future. It is pretty clear to me that they aim for characters to sell Sugo Fests and not structures or even a combination of the two anymore, which is pretty disappointing, but I guess it is what it is. I'm not a fan of it and I do not really like that direction. The guaranteed rate boosted or legend step will just keep coming, and the rest of the steps are also bland, with probably legend pools that will have 20 to 30 legends, and in this case not even Super Sugo Fests, so we do not have that argument that it's a bad Sugo but it is still a Super Sugo, which are pretty rare. It's not a Super Sugo Fest. That's enough for the structure though, let's actually talk about the upcoming debut characters. First up, we have V2 Kozuki Oden, who is a superclass slasher Sai character, and his captain ability goes as follows. Reduces crew special charge time by 1 turn at the start of the quest, pretty standard. Boosts slasher and free spirit characters' HP by 1.35 times, attack by 5 times, and boosts their attack further to 5.25 times if any enemies were defeated in the previous turn. He also makes their Sai and Int slots have matching slot effects. A very standard captain ability that does not make it bad though, I believe it is pretty decent, but for me the utility is really something that is lacking in his special. Like Roger, I would like him to remove some kind of debuff. Burn would be pretty fitting or maybe ironic, I'm not certain, but it could be a nice addition even though it wouldn't all of a sudden make him broken, it would just be a nice little touch. But the Sai and Int slots having matching slot effects, which essentially means that if you are running a full Sai team, you cannot have non-beneficial slots without a specific debuff, is still pretty decent. Also the attack boost at 5.25 times is very good. Let's now see his special. He adds plus 25 times to the effect of attack boosts and slot effect boosts that are launched after this special by slasher or free spirit characters for 3 turns. That is actually very good, I'm a fan of that. And with this addition, they absolutely need to add a filter for us to find these boosts in attack boosts or orb boosts, because you simply cannot find these characters in the game without you specifically knowing which of them do it. Can be pretty annoying while team building, hopefully they will add it in the upcoming update, if we actually see any QOL updates and not just a new game mode. In parentheses, it is also specified that this effect also counts for support effects if they are slasher or free spirit unit supports, which is pretty cool. I immediately also have in mind that he can work wonders with Toki. Now, moving on, if crew's HP is 80% or above when special is launched, he boosts the type effects of normal attacks for slasher and free spirit characters by 2.5 times for 1 turn. I guess that's okay, but by 2.25 times for 2 turns otherwise. Generally you get a color affinity boost no matter what, but only for these two classes. If crew has type effect boosts when special is launched, then he boosts slasher and free spirit characters attack by 2.25 times for 3 turns, which is way better than the color affinity boost because we can actually carry it through stages. But it is an attack boost, so it doesn't really synergize well with Roger, which is unfortunate. It does synergize with V1 Oden though if you run them as captain and friend captain. If crew's HP is 50% or below, when special is launched, he reduces damage taken by 95%, a hefty amount, and heals crew's... They meant to write heals crew's HP probably, by 10,000, which is okay, I guess, just an added bonus to his special. nothing bad. But overall, his special is a bit weird. I like the first part for sure, mainly because it can synergize very well with Toki and make her even better. But other than that, maybe it won't have a huge effect. Plus 25 in boosts though can be pretty decent. It can make a not that good attack boost, like for example 1.75 times, to a 2 times 1, which is very usable. So I definitely like that part. It is also something unique we have never seen before. Now for the over 80% HP, I am not really a huge fan of HP restrictions, but this is not 99%, so it is not that bad, and the color affinity difference, even if you are not over 80%, is plus 25 times, which yeah, it can play a difference, but it's not the end of the world, and you also get the lower boost for 2 turns, which I like. If you already have a color affinity boost though, he can give you an attack boost for 3 turns, which I am a big fan of, and I really like units like this, where they actually have a backup plan and they are not one-trick ponies. If you have a captain or a unit that can give you a color affinity boost, Oden does not become useless all of a sudden, or a unit that you should activate first. He gives you another option to get an attack boost, or maybe to even use the first part or the last part of his special. For his crewmate abilities, he can make size slots matching for everyone, not just Free Spirit and Slasher, which is good, and he just boosts base stats as well. He's a superclass legend, as I said, and specifically to activate his superclass ability, you need to have Kinemon, Kanjuro, Raizo, Kiku, Sadanmaru, Dogstorm, Cat Viper, Kawamatsu, Denjiro, Momonosuke, Hiyori, Roger, or Newgate in your crew. If the requirement is met, then the superclass special goes as follows. He can change all slots to character's own type, and he can boost the chain multiplier by 125 times for 1 turn. This is a very good chain boost and also some utility in his kit, finally, because only the matching slot utility from his sailor and his captain ability are not enough in my opinion. He needed some extra utility, and I guess sure he can give you healing and maybe a damage reduction shield, but that is not guaranteed every time you activate his special. You need to play around with the crew's HP. This effect does not go through block slots or poison slots. For block slots, it needed to specify block slots are included, and it doesn't, so that is kind of unfortunate. We do not have any information on his support ability, even though he does have one, except if I missed it of course. But overall, I have to say this Oden is a good unit. It is definitely good, even though he is not extremely unique, he does not present many new things or mechanics to the table. He still has a combination of very good stuff in his kit, some basic utility for slots, and then he also provides the boost to your already existing boost for 3 turns, which is, I guess you can say, the new thing that he provides that no other legend or unit in the game can do. Not only a color affinity booster, he can also be an attack booster, but only for Slasher and Free Spirit. This is pretty important. I think just like with Roger and Newgate, even though I know the character is good, I still have this feeling that they are pretty basic, if that makes any sense, because when I saw Oden is coming from this iconic scene from One Piece, I immediately thought maybe we will get some new Wano slot manipulation tactic or a new mechanic with Wano slots, or something generally more unique to Oden than the boost to your boost for 3 turns, which is not bad, I will repeat, but I guess I just was expecting a bit more uniqueness to Oden than what we got, which of course, I will repeat, it doesn't make him a bad character at all. I like that the Slasher class is getting some love lately with Wano, and now with this captain they can definitely become better, but this is not the only addition to One Piece Treasure Cruise. We also have a dual unit, Kinemon and Denjiro. So let's check out what they do. They are a dual unit, Kinemon is Sai and Denjiro is Q, a nice combination of colors. I am not certain if we have another legend dual unit with these specific colors. They are Slasher and Free Spirit in their dual form. We do not exactly know for the single forms, but of course they will both stay Slasher. We do not know about their other class. Maybe they will be Free Spirit Slasher in all of their forms. For their dual form captain ability, they boost Slasher and Free Spirit characters' attack by 5 times, HP by 1.5, they slightly boost chance of crew landing on RCV slots, and then they change RCV slots to Wano, very nice. And if a character's normal attack is effective against the enemy's type, they change the character slot to Wano. So pretty much Luffy-Taro Zoro-Juro, but better. Now for their special, they reduce one enemy's HP by 20%, they reduce all enemies' damage reduction and defense up by 6, which is very good. They boost Slasher and Free Spirit characters' slot effects by 2.75 times, a very high amount for one turn though, and then they boost base attack by plus 500 for one turn while becoming the dual unit for 3 turns. For their switch effect, they actually do something new that will be introduced in the game as a mechanic very shortly with the introduction of course of these characters. So on switch, they get a matching slot, which is always nice, and they apply minus 20% to enemies' slasher resistance for one turn. For the super switch, they do the same thing but with minus 50% to the enemy's slasher resistance. What is resistance exactly though? Essentially, because we do not have official information yet, I am guessing we will have a full explanation very soon. But it boils down to the more resistance the enemy has, the less of your actual damage goes through, so you do less damage. The less resistance they have, or the more you reduce it, you do more damage. Now, will enemies start having Slasher, Free Spirit, Powerhouse resistances all over the place? I don't know. I don't know if one enemy will have for all the classes or specific classes, but I guess, since here we see Slasher resistance, we might also see other class resistances too. Maybe it will be treated similarly to super typing. For their sailor abilities, they can make Q slots matching for Free Spirit and Slasher, which is pretty good, and they also boost base stats but only for Free Spirit units. Nothing crazy here, everything is pretty standard, but I would say this is overall a pretty good legend. They are Luffy-Taro Zoro-Juro, but better. They have better boosts in attack, a better special, they also have utility removing 6 turns of 2 defensive effects, which is very good these days. Luffy-Taro Zoro-Juro is a bit outdated, but at the same time they can still hold their own, especially as a sub. Also they provide the chain lock, Denjiro and Kinemon do not, and that is pretty important because a chain lock these days is becoming progressively worse, since we have good chain boosts and also the new chain boundaries. I love the Wano slot mechanic and I am very interested to see how resistances will work, so I cannot fully evaluate Kinemon and Denjiro. We should also wait for more news on this new mechanic, we should test the damage and stuff like that. For both new legends though, I have to say we are getting 2 good legends, that is for certain. I will be pulling for them, don't know which part of the Sugo Fest yet. We have of course to wait and see the legend pulls as well and the rates. Hopefully in part 1 they are no trash, but I am not really betting on it. Tell me in the comments down below what are your thoughts about the new legends, which one you like the most, and if you are planning to pull of course. If you enjoyed this video, definitely leave a like, I would really appreciate it, and of course subscribe for more One Piece Treasure Cruise content. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.